Building today's one chunk build was so incredibly fun. Thank you to the lovely GingerbeerFlower for the amazing build prompt of Fairy Garden. I definitely want to build more designs like this. It's such a cute and cozy build idea. Now, as any good build idea starts off, we have to figure out a base build palette. Today, it's going to be a lot of spruce and green mossy colors, with a few red pops of color that we'll add in a little later in the build. Now, since we are building a fairy garden, we're going to start off with a little bit of terraforming. I'm thinking a raised cliffside here in the back could look really nice to sit our fairy house on, and in the cliff we could even make a cute little crystal cave. And then the rest of the area down here on the bottom can be turned into a beautiful fairy garden filled with flowers and mushrooms. For our fairy house, we're going to use a lot of spruce. I want this house to feel very cozy because we're not giving a lot of build space for it. And for me, spruce wood really brings out the cozy feels. That means spruce for the side walls, and to create depth, I'm even going to add in some stairs and trapdoors rather than just flat walls. Then for the front entrance, I'm going to bring in some of those pops of color I mentioned and use some red terracotta behind our almost hobbit-like entrance. For the roof, I want it to feel high and fantasy-like, so we'll trim the edges with spruce stairs and planks, and for the main part of the roof, we're going to bring in some green wool, green terracotta, green concrete, and moss. This way, we can also add in some living elements like grass and flowers for a living roof feel. Then to top it all off, we'll add in a bunch of azalea bushes. So far, this little fairy house is looking adorable and very cozy. But now that the exterior of the house is mostly done, let's focus in on the garden itself. I want you to really feel the fairy vibe, so we're going to add a couple of custom mushrooms using diorite walls and red mushroom blocks. These don't have to be large, just enough to make them look like mushrooms and give off some pops of color. We could also put in some end rods topped with mushroom blocks, but after adding everything else in, it may be too much for this build in particular. Once our custom mushrooms are done, I also want to add in some flowers. And keeping with that red theme, we're going to be adding in some red and orange tulips and even some crimson fungus. And oh my goodness, I am loving the vibe of this fairy garden. It's so cute and cozy. Let's see if we can't also make the interior of the cave and house match these fairy vibes. And that means transitioning to a little bit of first-person block placing. Since both these areas are so very small, it's really hard to get that replay mod camera positioned properly, and who doesn't enjoy a nice build with me video? We're going to start here down in the crystal cave. I already created the cave entrance and interior stony cave shape, but now I want to add in a few details using some different sized amethyst crystals, a little bit of glow lichen for some texture, and a few glow berries to make it look bright and cheery. I think it would also look nice to have a spore blossom creating particles. To finish off this texturing, I also want to add in some slabs of mossy cobblestone, and andesite. While the cave is just for decorations, you could use it for an enchanting setup, or even a mushroom growing spot, or just a magical place to visit like I've done here. With our cave complete, let's head up to that fairy house and start planning out the interior. This space is so tiny, but you don't need much to make it feel like home. Let's separate the main floor into two rooms using the red terracotta from the window accent. The room in the back will work nicely for our bedroom, complete with a green bed, green carpet, and even some barrels on shelves. We even have a space to add in a painting on the back wall. We aren't going to add a door because we do want this build to feel a little bit more open, and blocking it with a door is going to make everything feel even smaller. Heading upstairs, we are going to fill the floor in with spruce planks and have a set of spruce stairs leading down to the main floor. Up in this attic space, we're going to transform it into a bit of an herbalist room. We'll add a bench here on the end to house a brew stand, and we'll pop in a cauldron for some water. Lanterns will suffice for lighting in the roof. We're also going to add in some soul sand encased in spruce trapdoors so we can grow some netherwort. That leaves us with very little space to work with, but I think a few shelves of pots with flowers could work here by the window, and even some weeping vines hanging from the ceiling. And I really love this place. definitely a cozy little attic for your next fairy-inspired build. Heading back downstairs, we need to finish off the front entrance. To add a little bit more storage, I'm going to add in some barrels under the stairs and a potted plant in this corner. And with that, I think we can call the interior of this house complete. Is there anything else that you would add to this fairy house interior? Let me know down in those comments. And with that, I think we can say that we have a beautiful fairy garden design all neatly fit into this one Minecraft chunk. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to like it, and why not subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye for now.